started around 1980. They had an original guitar player named Jay. They had Roz, James, and George. I joined the band after about the third show. They had opened the show for us when we were in the Adolescents when I was at being ready to be booted out, basically. And they impressed me very much, very different, the longer hair, the kind of deathly kind of thing, the slower kind of eerie music. But the guitar work that Jay did, not to knock him, was not complementing the rest of the music the way it should have been. I had a lot of ideas about it, so that's when I joined. I I added my own taste to it, and that's what you hear on Only Theater of Pain. We went on for about a good year, did the album, played a lot of shows in LA, became kind of like, LA's, personal pet band. Then just personal problems arose where I couldn't hang with it any longer, and so I left the band, and then they went through a few changes with people here and there. After a while, it got to a point where, like, the band that exists now, that is called Christian Death out there, has no original members. And about, it was last Halloween.
What year was that? What year?
89. Halloween 89, around that time. A friend of mine named Mike, he is a promoter, and he calls me up. He always comes up with these wacky ideas, it's like, what? And his idea was, he calls me up and goes, hey, I'd like to do a reunion with the original Christian Death. Let's try it out, And I'm all, I haven't talked to those guys for years. I have no idea where they are. And then I thought, well, then he gave me a bargain, he gave me a offer I couldn't refuse, basically. So I, did some detective work and finally got a hold of, just about everybody. The original drummer, George, is now a born-again Christian, so he was out of the car instantly because, he didn't want to do it. James I couldn't find. Finally did. He was hell tracking down. And
what happened with him?
Huh?
What was with James?
He was just hard to find because, like, it'd been years, and so all my numbers were, moot. All my phone numbers. Then Roz, I finally got a hold of. We decided, kept calling around, trying to find Roz. Couldn't find him, and I thought, well, let's go to LA and just ask around, look around, see if we know anybody. And so we went into Vinyl Fetish, the record store, and just out of a whim, there's this long red-haired guy. Asked, what the hell? Asked him, and sure enough, he'd been talking to Roz. He's a friend of Roz's. So we go, great. So we got a hold of him, and then he heard the offer, and he said okay. And then we did that reunion show. After that, we decided, well, let's see if we can maybe just get a couple shows here and there, in other cities. Like if they'll fly us out, we can do the show. And I called a friend of mine, Doug Karen, to book a couple shows like that. It ended up just turning into this full-blown tour in the winter of 89, 90 that we did it was about a good 5-week tour. And the show on this video here is the last show we've done as of yet. We're supposed to do one more in LA, and that'll be it. And then everybody can go their own ways. Roz has a band with his wife Eva. They're called the Shadow Project. Very good. James, I don't know exactly what he's doing. And the drummer that we had got, Vic, he's jammed with Laz Rocket now. He never really had a clue what was going on and stuff. He was pretty amazed. He was, tripping out most of the tour. But he went with it, He ended up enjoying it. Towards the end, then we were going home to California. He wanted to keep going like I did. Everybody else was glad to be home. I'm doing like a solo project now called Rikk Agnew's Yard Sale. We're going to Europe this year in the fall. I am also in a band called Wheel of Law, who I work with Jake Pasquale. And that's kind of a different experimental situation.